We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here. And admittedly, I don't think that we do a good enough job of bringing out positive news stories when they're out there. And this is really kind of a treat to me because there are two stories here that I think are completely positive. They show not only that if you stand up for yourself and you are willing to go through the hardships of fighting the system, you can obtain victory. And if you are ahead of the game in critical issues out there that some people mock and laugh at, so be it. You must continue to bring the truth forward no matter what. And somehow, some way, I do believe that you can pierce that into the geopolitical and even beyond the local political. Now we're going to talk about the federal government in the sense that we have RFK Jr. out there putting out a memo in which he talks about the abuse of the organ donor system and essentially how people in this country have had their organs harvested when there was a chance for life. Now, I want people to think long and hard about that because we're going to dissect it, but we're also going to read it verbatim. It's so funny. I went and got this offline, and I printed it into a PDF, and right away, my Adobe wants to, hey, do you want an AI summary? It's a little too long. It's like 2 pages long. I don't know that I need an AI summary of 2 pages. Now, on the flip side of all this, there's a word that we're still not going to use because we are on this platform that doesn't seem to like me using that word. But I think that most people out there will be able to read the headline. And as I read the article about this doctor who, ironically, is a plastic surgeon, essentially during the COVID-1984 nightmare, he was giving out the Nazi-like identification cards that said that you were born certified boopity boop boop booped up, and at the same time giving out saline solutions. Okay? Some heroes really don't wear capes, folks. And look, normally, I'm really not for the vast majority of plastic surgery. I think, obviously, you get your nose broken, you're in a car accident. There are small procedures, that are almost like dentistry that I'm down with. I think it's overused. But this is a guy who was a plastic surgeon who was willing to give everything up for the truth. And this is also going to highlight what I think is one of those main differences, because people will look at me dead in the eye, and some of them are genuine, and I think just some of them are totally and completely just so far gone that everything is a quote-unquote quote conspiracy, and they're so black-pilled that there's nothing you can do, and tell me there's no difference between a Kamala Harris and a Trump administration. I promise you, the two stories that we're going over right now do not happen. Do not happen in a Kamala Harris administration. Period. Full stop. Don't happen. They just don't. That's just real. Okay? So there are some differences. And you can hate me for that. But we call balls and strikes here. I call them like I see them. All right? And when the administration does something good, and these are two good things the administration has done, you encourage it. You say, that's the right thing. And then when they do the wrong thing, you go, that's the wrong thing. Pretty basic stuff. Kind of rules to live by. So don't try to bend yourself morally, or if you find yourself doing that, I would say that you take a step back, and on this show, we have a discussion about it. Yeah, we don't like moral relativism here, all right? But we also like to be pragmatic. Do those things sometimes clash? Perhaps. So, with that being said, thumbs it up, subscribe, share, ring that bell. Need you to ring the bell for notifications so you get them and you can check this out live when it pops off. And once again, folks, I really cannot do it without you. I want to thank those that continually donate. Costello, thank you so much for your generous donation. $5, $10, $15, it really does help out. And on top of that, folks, the big donors out there, if you don't want to do the Buy Me a Coffee, there are other links down below. That's how we give you real alternative media. Real stuff that you're not seeing in, the mainline internet that gets promoted and pushed. You're not seeing in the mainstream. And often when you do see it in the mainstream, it's portrayed in a way that you're demonized, right? They're like these stories, I can't believe they did that. We don't do that here. Again, but we're also not riding on team baseball. It's just the only team I'm on is Team Truth. Truth over treason every time. So Michael Kirk Moore, all right? DOJ drops charges against Utah doctor accused of destroying the you-know-what bigoted boops, all right? Now, they accused him of distributing at least 1,937 false Gestapo cards and administering saline to children. Again, we don't do enough positive stories here, okay? And this was a couple weeks ago this occurred. The U.S. Department of Justice dropped charges on Saturday against Michael Kirkmore, the Utah doctor, accused of destroying more than $28,000 worth of government-provided hate and lies and administering saline to children instead of that hate and lies shiggity shot. Being real careful here. Got to do that. We're just reading an article and not reading certain words, but it's right there for you to read as well. Now, I didn't write this, the London Guardian did. Pam Bondi, the U.S. Attorney General, announced the news in a statement on social media platform X, saying the charges have been dismissed under her direction. Dr. Moore gave his patients a choice when the federal government refused to do so, Bondi said. He did not deserve the years in prison he was facing. Not only does he not deserve the years in prison, he deserves a full restitution, which I don't know that he's going to get. Right? I mean, and a formal apology. And that's the thing. You can call Trump Daddy Warp Speed, and there are a million legitimate criticisms of him during that time period. But you can see he went with ignorance, thinking that the people that he was working with actually cared and were not nefarious. And he can never admit when he gets tricked. I mean, he is pig-headed and stubborn to a point, and imperfect. I mean, you go in there as the executive, or at least he did, thinking organizations like DARPA have humanity's back. Sorry, it's a military-driven organization of compartmentalization by literal scientific madmen. They're dangerous, okay? Anything DARPA-related, you better take with a grain of salt there, partner, okay? Of According to a 2023 press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office in Utah, Moore distributed at least 1,937 fraudulent record cards in exchange for either direct payment or required donations to a specific charity. Now, he denies all this, by the way. I'd play the clip here, but you can find it. He says he didn't take any money for anything like that. And do we believe the state? Do we believe the government, especially in regards to these matters? I don't know. And then some people will criticize me on the flip side, saying you're about to release or read an HHS release, a government document. I know. It's confusing out there. That's why I tell you, read everything, listen to everyone, and use your own discernment. Who's telling you what? Who can be trusted and can't? All right? The minors he gave saline shots to were under the impression, at the request of their parents, that they were receiving hate and lies, which also is contested by Moore. Moore ran the operations from a plastic surgery center in Midvale, Utah, and was charged, along with 3 other co-defendants, with conspiracy to defraud the United States. Ooh, to defraud the United States. Well, when the United States is acting like a authoritarian dictatorship and not a constitutional republic, where my basic rights, enshrined in the Constitution and Bill of Rights, to be secure in my persons and property, especially the Fourth Amendment, was just destroyed there. Destroyed. Far-right Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene thanked Bondi in a statement on X and called Moore a hero who refused to inject his patients with a government-mandated, not going to say the next 2 words. You can read that. You can read it yourself. I didn't say it. The Utah Senator Mike Lee, and I like Lee a lot, also weighed in, saying on X that he was glad Moore could remain a free man and that countless Americans endured lies and lockdowns during the pandemic. How about that? Moore was indicted by the Justice Department in 2023. He pled not guilty to the charges, which also included conspiracy to convert, sell, convey, and dispose of government property, and the conversion, sale, conveyance, and disposal of government property. Government property. You know, these are the government mandates something that's totally hate and lies. Provided you don't want to be a part of it, you're being forced to be a part of it. And you stand up and they come right at your ass. Government property. That's why I am as uninvolved with the government as humanly possible. I don't get into the sovereign citizen Johnny nonsense or any of that. But boy, oh boy, I don't want to be involved in any government programs. I don't want to do business with the government. I want to keep it to like paying taxes, the registration of my vehicles, and that's about it. That's about it. One day maybe I'll own my home and you get some more property taxes and zoning by the government. But I don't want nothing to do with y'all. These fake records were sold under Moore's scheme for $50 each, and operations allegedly ran between May 2021 and September 2022. Attorneys for Moore argued the regulations set at the time by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention were unconstitutional. That's right. The CDC can't mandate anything. The charges against Moore were brought in when Joe Biden was president, but conspiracies, and skeptics have been embraced in the new administration under Trump. See, they try to give it a negative spin at the end. The mainstream media makes me sick. Makes me sick. Recently, the Trump administration canceled a $766 million award to Moderna on the research and development of H5N1 bird flu you-know-what-skis with an M and an R and an A. With an M and an R and an A. Yeah, Moderna is an extension of DARPA, the Adept and Protect program. Good. Again, these are good things. The U.S. Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has for decades baselessly sowed doubt about you-know-whatski. Contrary to scientific research, thanked Moore in a statement on X back in April, Dr. Moore deserves a medal for his courage and his commitment to healing. Let's get the thumbs up. We got the next story going down here. So here he is, and we're going to sum this up, and then we're going to read the actual press release by the HHS. Our findings show that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life. And this is horrifying. Yes, the organ procurement organizations that coordinate access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves. No, and this is why you don't want to be on welfare medicine. This is why you want to have some money. Anybody can go read this right now. We're gonna also read the whole thing. This shows you, that this predator class. I mean, do you think that this is happening to a Rockefeller or a Rothschild or a Clinton or a Bush or a Cheney? Absolutely not. Cheney got a damn robotic heart. I mean, he's Darth Vader. So no, you talk about a two-tiered justice system, and a lot of people, are upset via the Epstein case on that. This is like literal life and death. And people have joked for years, goofed on people like me for years. I haven't been an organ donor for years after I saw how nefarious the government really was. Because I ain't rich. And if little old me gets in a car accident, I'm probably worth more dead than alive to most. Don't give them an excuse. And that's crazy. You're being greedy. They'd never. Let's read it. Okay? Let's see. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, under the leadership of Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr., today announced a major initiative to begin reforming the organ transplant system following an investigation by its Health Resources and Services Administration that revealed disturbing practices by a major organ procurement organization. Our findings show that hospitals allowed the organ procurement process to begin when patients showed signs of life, and this is horrifying. The organ procurement organizations that coordinate access to transplants will be held accountable. The entire system must be fixed to ensure that every potential donor's life is treated with the sanctity it deserves. HRSA directed the Organ Procurement and Transplantation Network, OPTN, to reopen a disturbing case involving potentially preventable harm to a neurologically injured patient by the federally funded Organ Procurement Organization, OPL, serving Kentucky, Southwest Ohio, and part of West Virginia. Under the Biden administration, the OPTN's Membership and Professional Standards Committee closed the same case without action. Wouldn't have mattered if it was the Biden administration. Any administration that hadn't even been looking into this has been going on for a long time. Not a left or right issue, a human issue, a class issue. Also, not a race issue, not a gender issue. Under Secretary Kennedy's leadership, HRSA demanded a thorough, independent review of the OPO's conduct and the treatment of vulnerable patients under its care. HRSA's independent investigation revealed clear negligence after the previous OPTN board of directors claimed to find no major concerns in their internal review. HRSA examined 351 cases. 351. I mean, folks, medical malpractice, I believe, I think it's the third. Let's do it live. Let's get a little O'Reilly in there. Thumbs it up.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
So I think it's the third. We're going to do it live right here. So there it is. Medical malpractice, cause of death in U.S. Third? Let's see. Is it third? Or put second. It's third. There it is right now at 2018. That's pre COVID 1984 nightmare. Okay, see that? Let's make it a little bigger. Third leading cause of death is medical malpractice. Medical malpractice. Let's just keep reading this. Okay? So the 351 cases where organ donation was authorized but ultimately not completed. It found 103 cases. Showed concerning features, including 73 patients with neurological signs incompatible with organ donation. Okay? What they're basically saying is there's no way they could have coherently said yes to that. At least 28 patients may not have been deceased at the time organ procurement was initiated, raising serious ethical and legal questions. Oh, at least 20. Oh, how about that? And how many cases did they look at? I'm going to say under 10,000. Under 10, and third leading cause of death in the U.S. Medical malpractice. My God. Evidence pointed to poor neurological assessments, lack of coordination with medical teams, questionable consent practices, and misclassification of causes of death, particularly in overdose cases. Vulnerabilities were highest in smaller and rural hospitals, indicating systematic gaps in oversight and accountability. In response to these findings, HRSA has mandated strict corrective actions for the OPO and system-level changes to safeguard potential organ donors nationally. The OPO must conduct a full root cause analysis of its failure to follow internal protocols, including noncompliance with the 5-minute observation rule after the patient's death, and develop clear, enforceable policies to define donor eligibility criteria. Additionally, it must adopt a formal procedure allowing any staff member to halt a donation process if the patient safety concerns arise. Secretary Kennedy will certify the OPO if it fails to comply with these corrective action requirements. So they've got even a little PDF link right there. HRSA also took action to make sure that the patients across the country will be safer when donating organs by directing the OPTN to improve safeguards and monitoring of the national level. Under HRSA's directive, data about any safety-related stoppages of organ donation called for by families, hospitals, or OPO staff must be reported to regulators, and the OPTN must update policies to strengthen organ procurement safety and provide accurate, complete information about the donation process to families and hospitals. These findings from the HHS confirm what the Trump administration has long warned. Entrenched bureaucracies, outdated systems, and reckless disregard for human life have failed to protect our most vulnerable citizens. Under Secretary Kennedy's leadership, HHS is restoring integrity and transparency to organ procurement and transplant policy by putting patients' lives first, as they always should have been. These reforms are essential to restoring trust, ensuring informed consent, and protecting the rights and dignity of prospective donors and their families. Okay? So, look, I don't think any of this happens under the Trump administration. A lot of people might say that this is window dressing, but there are two very positive stories. And honestly, I think it's worse than they're saying. But it's opened people's eyes up to the possibilities out there, and at least given people knowledge, which truly is power, ignorance is not bliss, that you get to navigate this a little bit better. With that being said, folks, thumbs it up, subscribe, share, ring the bell, check out the alt accounts, the Rumble, the Rockfin, follow on X, and please, I need you now more than ever. There are no paychecks. This is true independent media, $5, $10, $15. It absolutely means the world to me. Big donors, thank you so much. I want to thank all that have supported the broadcast. Also, check out all the documentary films for free. It's not about left or right. It is always about right and wrong. I absolutely love you guys, and I will see you all on the flip side.